In this tutorial video, we're going to be walking through what you would get with a Target Test Prep GMAT prep course purchase. And we got to say, we've done a lot of different reviews for a lot of different prep course companies. And, Target Test Prep is fairly new within this industry. However, they're making a very large splash, and it's going to be made very clear to you as we go through this as to why. The quality of work that Target Test Prep is doing is just exceptionally high. The design that they've done within their website, within this interface that you're going to be working in on a daily basis is incredible. The functionality of it is incredible, and that's largely in part because they care so much about their product, and they've gone out and they've hired the absolute best engineers that you can in the world to bring this amazing product to you guys. And so it's really an aspect that you want to look for in a prep course company. Are they taking it to the next level? How much are they really putting into their company? And for Target Test Prep, they're going all in, and it's really going to be, shine through as we go through this tutorial as to how high quality their product really is. So while we're on the topic of a high quality product, take a look in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. You can see an image down there of an individual. What that is, that's Target Test Prep's live help function. So as you're moving through your prep course, working at your own pace, and let's say you come across a question or you're hung up on something, you can just click on that image in the bottom right hand corner and ask that individual a question and get help right then and there. So really a great aspect to the Target Test Prep program. So, with that being said, we're currently on the study plan, dashboard within the Target Test Prep system. And so within here, you can see you've got all the various different modules that Target Test Prep would have you work through. And so at the very top, it's a start here. And so we'll just go ahead and we'll click on that to give you an idea, as to what it is you're going to look at when you first enter into the Target Test Prep system. And so you can see they're giving you just a quick overview in that they have 20 detailed comprehensive chapters, over 2,400 realistic practice GMAT problems, and over 800 in-chapter example problems. And then they go on to tell you that the estimated time to fully complete these modules is around 180 hours. Now keep in mind, these modules are quantitative only. So currently, that's all that's available through Target Test Prep. They're working on the other side of it, but currently the quant is that's all that's available. Now when you see an estimated of 180 hours, don't get alarmed by that. This is your future that you're talking about, and to properly prepare for the GMAT, you have to put the time in. A large part of what a graduate program is effort. And so, yes, the GMAT measures your skills, but to a certain degree, it's also, the purpose of it is to see, are you going to put effort to make the score that you need to get into a desired program? And so, when you see the 180 hours, also know that Target Test Prep also offers what they call a short study plan. So this is designed specifically for the person who knows that they don't have 180 hours to devote to their studying for the GMAT. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take a practice test. That's the very first thing that you're going to do before each one of the modules. And it's going to identify your weaknesses. And so that's going to allow you then to go into the lessons and solely just focus on what you're weak in. And you don't have to spend all that time refreshing on stuff that you're already familiar with. And so just know that that option is out there, and it's very ideal for the person who, is crunched for time. And not everybody's going to take the 180 hours to complete it. You're going to have people that are going to take less time. You're also going to have people that are going to take more time. But just in general, don't be alarmed by that number. The other, great aspect of this is that they're not lying to you. They're flat out saying, listen, this is going to take effort on your part and it's going to take time. We're not promising you a quick fix for the GMAT. It's a quality prep course, and with a quality prep course, it's going to take time. And so it's really nice that they're upfront about that, and it's just another clear indication that this is a quality prep course company. And further down here, you can see that you can easily download, they call it the active review study sheets, as well as the study calendars. And essentially what those are, we'll just go ahead and show you what those are. So here is an example of what one of these active review study sheets is going to look like. Your topic is going to be down the left-hand side, and then you've got this open space to take your notes as you're going through these courses. So it's just really great that they're giving this to you. It keeps your notes organized. You certainly could take notes in your own notebook, but this is available to you. And then the second thing that was downloadable through that screen for you was the calendar. So to help you keep pace, in hitting your target, they have this calendar that's available to you. You can go in and you can work from your test day. So you're going to know when you're going to take your test, or when your ideal test day is. Hopefully you've already scheduled it. Maybe you still need to schedule it, but you should have an idea for when that test day is. And essentially you work your way back and you fill out this calendar in order to keep you on track. And so up here at the top, you can quickly change, each month from January to February, and so forth. But it's nice that Target Test Prep has given you this tool to help you along. So that is available. All right, so now that we've shown you exactly what you're going to get with those downloads, let's go ahead and collapse this start here. And you can see then you've got all these other modules that are listed below. So you've got Module 2 here, Essential GMAT Quant Skills, Module 3, the linear and quadratic equations. And we're just going to scroll down and we're going to show you everything that you're going to get from a module perspective. And so you can freeze frame this to get a better idea or take a closer look at what each one of these modules is offering you. We're just going to go ahead and scroll down really quickly just so that you have that overview of all the modules that are available to you. And so as we near down here to the bottom, you're going to see that there are a total of 38 modules here. So however, be cognizant that within each one of these modules there is a lot of information. Alright, so we're up here at the top of this dashboard view again, and you should know that there are two different ways that you can move through this prep course. You can do it like the majority of Target Test Prep students are, and that's just the regular way where you go through your lessons or the chapters first, and then you go into your practice tests. Or you can take the approach, what they call the short study plan. And over here to the right, you can see the short study plan approach. And so when you click this radio button, in these modules, you're no longer going to see the option to go ahead and go to your lesson first. It's simply prompting you to go take one of your tests. And so if you're doing this short study plan, it's recommended that you select a medium level test. Go take that medium level test, and then it's going to identify all of your weaknesses. So you're going to move through that. You're going to get a number of them wrong, but you're going to know which types of questions that you've gotten wrong. And so it's only after you've figured out what are your weak points that you would then go into the individual chapters and work through those weak points. Versus if you didn't select the short study plan, so let's go ahead and unselect that. You can see, let's move back down to Module 4. Let's click within it. And now you see that you're prompted to go ahead and read and work through the lessons of properties of numbers. So you're not moving through a practice test first. So let's show you what that looks like. Alright, so now that you've accessed your lesson, you're ready to learn, right? So the first thing that you're prompted with is the introduction. So it just kind of gives you an overview of all the different sections that are within here. So you can see that just by scrolling down. What you can also do to move through these lessons, maybe you don't want to necessarily go in order. Maybe you already know what your weaknesses are and you want to jump right through those. You can come over here to where you see the lessons. And so you click on the lessons, and then it gives you this overview of everything that falls within this module. And so you can scroll down and you can select any one of these. And so I guess one thing to keep in mind, earlier we showed you all the modules that were available to you, but buried beneath all those modules is just a ton of information to help you prepare for this GMAT. So let's just go ahead and let's just click on integers, just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like as you move through these lessons. And so right here are integers. There's basically just a quick to the point, here's what you need to know about integers, and then they give you a must know. And so as you're moving through these lessons, they'll throw in these must knows, for you to memorize. And so those notes that we showed you earlier, those note sheets specifically, that'd be a good place for you to put some of these must knows. But that's just kind of a quick little look at what it's going to be like as you move through these lessons. Also know that as you're moving through these lessons, there's going to be a number of them that have examples within them. This integers is a pretty basic topic, and so just so happens that for this one there's not an example buried within here. But let's show you guys what one would actually look like. If we go over here to lessons. Alright, so here's an example of a lesson area that does have a solution buried within it, and we're just going to give you an idea for what that's going to look like. And so it's very popular within the Target Test Prep, these video explanations. So down here you have example 15, what is the least common multiple of 24 and 60? And so you could either just answer it, or you could select C solution, and you could come down here and you could select play to learn all about how to do this. And so we're just going to go ahead and give you guys an overview of what one of these video explanations would look like.
What's the LCM of 24 and 60? So to start, all we're going to do is get the prime factorizations of these numbers. This is 3 times 2 cubed. 60 is 3 times 2 squared times 5. Now what we have to do is make sure each prime factor is represented, but we pick the largest variant of that prime factor, in other words the one with the highest power. So both of the 3's are raised to the first power, so it doesn't matter which one we choose, we just pick one of them. But now with the 2's, there's a 2 squared and a 2 cubed, so we have to pick the 2 cubed. And of course the 5 has to be represented there because he has to be in the prime factorization and there's no one else to choose. So the least common multiple of 24 and 60 is 3 times 2 cubed times 5, which is 120. So what does that mean? It means that 120 is the very first number that both 24 and 60 will evenly divide into. So in other words, there's no number prior to 120 that will evenly divide both 24 and 60. And that's the least common. And the name says it all, right? It's the least or the smallest common multiple among these two numbers. Now there are bigger numbers, like for example 240 is a common multiple, 360 is a common multiple, and all the way up. But notice that all of the common multiples are multiples of the least common multiple. And we'll do a lot with least common multiple here over the next few examples.
So there you go. That's a classic example of a video explanation that you're going to get as you're going through your lessons. And so you can see here, as you scroll down, you've also obviously got more of an explanation. Really just gives you an idea for the level of explanation that you're going to get as you're moving through your lesson. One thing that I should note, and now is a great time to do it, when I was having discussions with the Target Test Prep executives, one thing that they mentioned, that really stood out was when they were trying to develop these lessons, and specifically the practice problems that are embedded in these lessons, they really tried to focus on high-value problems. And so they did not just want to throw any type of problem in here for you to work through. They really wanted to create one that was, extremely beneficial to you. So keep that in mind. These practice problems as you're going through, there was a lot of thought that went into those in order to make them high-value practice problems and the solutions that ultimately they work through with you. So definitely keep that in mind. So this is what the lesson is going to look like. And so if you're not on that fast track, that short study plan option, you're going to go through these lessons and then you're going to take your practice tests. So we're going to show you what those practice tests look like. But in general, this is what your lessons are going to look like and how you're going to interface and move through them. You can either complete an easy chapter test, you can complete a medium chapter test, or you can go ahead and complete a hard chapter test. And so we'll just go ahead, we'll click in the easy chapter test here. So once we've done that, it takes you to your chapter tests. And actually, these are all your chapter tests. And so Module 1 was the essential GMAT quant skills. Module 2 was the linear and quadratic equations. And then we had Module 3, the properties and numbers, and so forth. And so here, again, let's just take a look at the properties of numbers. Go ahead and start a easy practice test. You can see here you've got 3 of 3 tests remaining, so total of 3 tests, all easy questions for properties and numbers. You also have available to you practice tests from a medium level perspective as well as a hard level perspective. And so just to give you an idea of what these tests are going to look like, let's just go ahead and click start. Once you do that, it's going to ask you, it's going to prompt you to select how much time you want to allow for each question. This is fantastic. It's extremely important in your GMAT prep because once you get to the official GMAT, you can't be spending a ton of time on each one of these questions. And so you want to begin your studying, making sure that you're on track to finish each problem within an appropriate period of time. So let's just go ahead and select the 2-minute mark and hit begin. And so what we're going to do here is show you, so this is the interface that you're going to have for these practice tests. You have the ability to bookmark it right here. You can see here, it's 1 of 15. Here's your time session. So you've got 30 total minutes to get through this 15 question test. And then you've ultimately got your time running down for each one of the questions. And you're only presented with one question at a time, which is nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to click through really quickly each one of these questions to give you an idea of what it's going to look like after you finish the exam. So let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to hit A for all of these. All right, so we just went ahead and we just selected A for every single one of those questions to get through and show you guys what the analysis of that test is going to look like. So when you finish a test like that, up here at the top, it's going to give you a % success rate. So percentage-wise, out of the 15 questions, how many did you get correct? And then over here to the right of that, you got your average time per question. So for us, it was just around 4 seconds. We weren't looking at any of those questions. We were just simply answering A throughout all of them. 4 seconds, average time per question. But then you also have total time available to you for the entire test. But the really neat thing about this is, so when you scroll down here, each one of the questions, it's going to obviously show you whether or not you got it right or wrong, but also out to the right, it's going to show you percentage-wise what all the target test prep students are doing on each one of these questions. So question 1, we can see that 82% of target test prep students are getting that correct. 88% are getting question 2 correct. But let's scroll down a little bit and you see question 6. All right, I can see that only 33% of the target test prep students are getting that correct. Well, why is that? Well, it's probably a much harder question within this easy framework of questions. Remember, because we selected that we were going to take an easy test. So what you can do is you can maybe hone in on that question. Maybe that's a question that you really want to understand the solution to it. It's something that's maybe difficult for you, but also difficult to other students. And so when you get on the GMAT, the official GMAT, hopefully you have that mastered. And so you can really easily pick out what is across the board a more difficult question. And so you can go over here to check. All right, so here's the question, and you can see it's going to obviously make available to you the red X for whatever question that you answered incorrectly, and then it's going to give you the green check mark for the correct answer. But below, this is where it's key. They're going to walk you through the solution. So, how to get to the right answer. And it's nice that it's all compact. It's all right here in an easy to utilize format. Just easy for you to get to and rework a problem. One other quick thing to note that is really neat about what Target Test Prep allows you to do in this view. Let's say you're in here and you're reading through the solution and you think, wow, I really need to go back into the lessons and read more up on this related topic. You can actually do that very easily. Down here at the bottom, you see here we've got multiplication rules for even and odd numbers, and then we also have addition and subtraction rules for even and odd numbers. You can easily just click in one of these and it's going to take you directly into that related lesson. And so here you are, you're back into those lessons. It opened up a new screen, so this is going to allow you to easily go back to your review of your test, but you also have that lesson that is now popped up ready for you to review nice and easily. So the efficiency of this as you're moving through, this is a huge benefit, especially for those of you who are maybe utilizing that short study plan and you're crunched for time. This is really going to save you time, so definitely something to note. So we do really like how this is set up. Also, as you're moving through those tests, you have the option to bookmark those questions. And over here to the right, that's where it would indicate whether or not you had bookmarked that question. All right, so we're at the top of this dashboard. We're currently inside the study plan, and you can see there's multiple different options. You've got the home, you've got the study plan, the diagnostic, the resources, and settings. And so let's just work through each one of those, and let's show you what's included within them. So if we click on home, it's going to give you a snapshot of what you've done thus far. So keep in mind, as we've gone through and done this review, it's basically just to give you an idea of what things look like and what options are available to you. So when we went through the practice test, we were just selecting A for each one of them. We weren't reading the questions. And so that's why on our overall dashboard, you can see an overall accuracy of 16% because we weren't paying attention throughout those questions. We were just simply selecting A. And so then you can also see in terms of lessons completed. So in terms of full lessons, 0%. This is, it's brand new, right? We've definitely moved through some of these lessons to give you an idea, of what they look like. But in terms of officially having completed all of them, gone through all the practice problems, no. So none have been totally completed. And then problems attempted. And so you can see here, we've attempted 30 problems. And so it just gives you a snapshot of where you're at in the process. And so as you, continue down your modules, this obviously is going to work its way around and you're going to get up to hopefully having worked all of the problems. And so when we scroll down, you can see here it also gives you a snapshot of where you're at within each one of the modules. And so linear and quadratic equations, we got in there and kind of played around with the system. And so you can see here 27%. So this initial view of where you're seeing this 27%, it might not look like much from the surface. But let's click on this and let's look at all the metrics that are buried behind this, and it's really incredible. So, all right, so you click on, let's say, this linear and quadratic equations. All right, now you're in the meat and the heart of your metrics behind that particular module. And so, you can see here, here's your easy questions that you've answered. So remember, we went through and we did everything very quickly. So we have this, 20% accuracy. Our average time spent on each of those questions was only 9 seconds. But so maybe you've gone through these and maybe your average time is showing up as 4 minutes. But you have, let's say a 90% accuracy. Well, a 90% accuracy is great. But that time, you need to work to try and get that down because 4 minutes per question is going to be a little bit too much. And so this, is great to fly at that high level and analyze where you're at and specifically per module. And so let's dive down a little even deeper into this. You can see within the module, you can actually look at each individual topic. And so this is extremely beneficial for you. So you can see here, the first topic, 2.1, solving an equation for one variable. And so, accuracy, 100%. We had one question related to that we've answered. So just 1 out of 3. But you can see how you're doing specifically by topic, and if you need to dive back in and review anything related to that topic, you can easily do so. We can just click learn right here, and that's bringing us right back into the lesson where we might need to end up doing a little bit more work. And then you could look and you could review all the other different topics within that related module. But let's go back to that main homepage dashboard and let's get through the rest of that real quick. Then you've got problems and numbers, 7%, and so forth. You can see every different module that's available to you and your percent complete. Then you can also come over here and really quickly identify all your strong chapters and all your weakest chapters. That's extremely important. Having the ability to fly at a high level and analyze where you're at is really crucial throughout the GMAT process. And so having this option right here, easy for you to utilize, is pretty critical. And then just kind of some statistics over here on the right, but very clean and a nice dashboard. So then we've already looked at the study plan. Let's go over here to the diagnostic. So when you first log into Target Test Prep, they'd really like you to take a diagnostic exam to evaluate where you're at. And so they're going to ask you whether or not you're shooting for an average quant score, so a 30 to 39, a good quant score 40 to 46, or just an awesome quant score 47 to 51. So you're going to take this exam, and it's going to identify what your weakest areas are and what your strongest areas are, and that's going to help Target Test Prep customize your learning experience. In addition to that, in addition to taking that diagnostic exam, you're going to come over here. Let's look at the settings. So when we first signed up, you're prompted with just a number of things to select, and one of those things to select is what quant score you're aiming for. And so in general, we were looking for an awesome 47 to 51, and it saved that, and that was to tailor our study plan. So keep in mind, you can skip over the diagnostic if you want to. If you do skip over the diagnostic, then your customization is going to be tailored to what you select here in terms of what GMAT score you're looking for, whether it's awesome, good, or just average. And so we scroll up here. You're also obviously going to select your display name, your time zone, and then down here at the bottom, your test date. So hopefully you've established a test date, and you're going to pick that date and plug it in there. And so those are the options that you can change within settings. And then the other thing that you can see here is resources. And so we'll click on resources, and the first thing you're prompted with is your study plan. So if we were to click on this view online, it's going to take us to the study plan view that we've just seen, where it displays all those modules. But then also, if you scroll down here, you've got your equation guide. And so this is nice that they put this together for you. You can download this guide, but essentially it has all of the key equations that you need for the GMAT just packed into one guide. Then you also have this active review. These are the study sheets. So they've put together these study sheets by topic, and now to the side you can make your notes. So those are downloadable for you. And then you also have this study calendar that's available to you. And so hopefully you've gone ahead and scheduled your official GMAT test, and the study calendar is there to keep you on track. So to make sure you're working back from when your test is to essentially today, that you've got everything booked in your calendar in order to keep you on track so that you're going to be successful. And so it's really nice that you have the option to download that study calendar. So then up here at the top, you've got chapters, chapter tests, custom tests, and bookmarks. So let's just give you an idea. Let's go back to the study plan real quick. So this study plan right here, and within each one of the modules, so we'll look at this. It says read introduction to quantitative section. Okay, so another way to get to that is to click right here on chapters. All right, introduction to quantitative section right here. So this is where you would click on this, click on start reading, and here you are. You're in your lesson, right? So this is very similar to the other lesson that we had previously worked through. Let's go ahead and exit out of that. And so now we're back here on the study plan dashboard. And so if we click in here in module 1, you've got that introduction we talked about. But let's go down into module 2, the essential GMAT quant skills. So here's the lesson for essential GMAT quant skills. But then down here below, you have these chapter tests. And so you certainly can click here on each one of these, but you can also access chapter tests by clicking up here at the top, chapter tests. So from that menu, clicking chapter tests, you're going to be taken to this display. And so you can scroll through. You've got all your practice tests for each one of your modules right here. You've got a bank of easy tests, a bank of medium, and a bank of hard tests. And so you work through each one of those as you're going through your module for each one of the topic areas. The other option that you have here at the top are these custom tests. Alright, so now that we're in these custom tests, let's show you just how you can customize it, and it really is incredible. So here you are, you can see here down the left hand side, you've got all your different modules. So you can see they're all listed out here to the left. Then you can also see out here to the right, you've got E, M, and H for each one of those. So easy, medium, hard level questions. You can come in here and say that you want to take a test that's covering all the modules, and you can say, I want to do all easy level questions. So you can click the select all, and it selects all the easy questions all the way down to the bottom. And you can see up here in the upper right hand corner that you have 716 total easy problems available to you. If you didn't want easy, you could just select medium. So medium level questions for all of them, you've got 884 questions available to you. Let's say maybe you want medium and hard. You just simply select the red hard, and now you've got almost 2,000 problems available to you for all of those. But let's say you don't want to do every single module in a customized test. Let's say you just want to work through one of them. So let's go down here to the properties of numbers. And let's say that we want to work through easy, medium, and hard level questions for properties of numbers. So we have a total of 294 total questions that we can work through. And as we scroll down, there are other options available for us. So we can show new questions before repeating any old questions. And so that's a great option to have. Just want to make sure that you're hitting all new questions, all new stuff. Maybe you've previously come in here and made a customized test just for property numbers. Maybe you're doing it again. You only want to show questions that you've never seen before. You can do that. So then also you can see here, show only problems I've gotten wrong. So that's extremely nice. You select that, and it's only going to display to you numbers that you've gotten wrong as you work through your practice tests. So that's extremely nice. Also down here, you've got to where you can customize the time per problem. So, as we've touched on before, when you get to the GMAT, the official GMAT, you don't want to be spending tons of time on each one of the questions, and you want to get used to the fact that you're limited to a minute or 2 minutes per question. And so practicing with that is key. And so here you can select how much time you're allowed per problem. And so it's, set right here to 1 minute per problem. But we can select that, and now you can see we can select either 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and all in between. So that's just really nice, and then you'd simply select Start Practice. And so that's how you would customize a test within this option. So very nice, very slick, very well designed, and hopefully it's going to be very beneficial to you as you're moving through your prep. You also see up here you have an option for bookmarks. So as you're moving through your lessons, as you're moving through your problems, you've got the option to bookmark various different items. And so over here to the right, we went in and we just bookmarked one so we can show you. We've got, one lesson booked and one problem booked. And so we want to expand this essential GMAT quant skills. And over here, you've got the topic, and then you've got the problem that's been bookmarked. So let's just go ahead and select the problem that we previously bookmarked. Okay, now it brings us to that problem. Now we can work through the problem again, and we can also go through the solution to make sure that we understand it. So it's easily bookmarked all problems that potentially you're having difficulties with. So we'd like to end this by saying, certainly Target Test Prep is extremely high quality from a design perspective, from a user interface, as well as from a functionality perspective. However, you also get all of the information that you need in order to perform well on the GMAT. So just from an information perspective, as they're going through the lessons and the strategies that they're teaching you throughout, they really are great, and you're going to be served well if you're going with Target Test Prep to help you get your GMAT to that next level. Now, keep in mind, this currently is just a quantitative prep course, so you're not getting that other side of it. But for a lot of people, quantitative is what's holding them back from that top GMAT score they're looking for. So Target Test Prep, might be your option to catapult your GMAT score. So definitely keep them in mind as you're making your choices between what option to go with, or what option to supplement with some other prep course that you might have already purchased. As always, when you're looking to make your purchase, please remember to utilize our links here at testprepstore.com to make your purchase. At the end of the day, that's what helps keep us out there and available and creating this content for future test takers. Also, please remember to like and share this if you found it useful. Your friends and family, they might be looking for test prep options just like you. Maybe it's not necessarily in the GMAT, but we also offer reviews for ACT, SAT, and various other test preps that are out there. And so, they might be looking for something, and we'll have an answer for them here at Test Prep Store. So please remember to share and like this with your friends and family. We greatly appreciate it, and come back to us for all your future test prep needs. We'll have everything that you need right here to make your shopping experience nice and easy. Best of luck to you on your GMAT.